my mic up a little bit. Let's see here. Let's get this up from underneath there. Okay, and all right. So, tomorrow we got CPI. That is going to affect the markets. This is what we have been looking for on the dollar all week. So we're going to most likely remain the same bias. So here is the dollar, and I'm looking at it on the 4 hour chart. On the left, I have my momentum and my moving average. On the right, I have my volume, right? And whenever I'm scanning the markets, I pretty much just look for impulses or divergence. So I wait for the market to make an impulse, and then I wait for the market to come back into the area where the impulse started, more or less. And if the market's not really making impulsive moves, there's not really anything to play. So it's very easy for me to go through and scan the market to see which see which trades I want, right? For the dollar, this is going to be the setup that we're looking for tomorrow. It very well could hold right here. We have the month of January, the point of control sitting right here. It's definitely in an area where I do think that the market could just snap and turn around. No doubt about that. But there's also a lot of volume sitting down here as well. And just this kind of open area that has not been tested yet. I do believe the market is going to eventually get down there. And that's going to be ultimately the area this week where I'm going to be putting my full risk. So if the dollar can get all the way down into this level, and, ultimately it would be better if there was kind of a ABC pattern down into that to then take this to the upside. So that would actually incline that tomorrow there should be somewhat of a move to the upside. And when I do look at this, I see this last week's volume is basically telling me that price does have a shot to go to the upside. We do have this gap here as well. So, it's one of those that I want to wait for the dollar to make one more move down and then try to catch the move to the upside here. But it is setting up to where it could just very well hold this little falling wedge and then move to the upside. So what I will need to see on the dollar tomorrow to take any trades on the DXY, or not on the DXY, but on other Forex pairs, right? Because we kind of base a lot of this off the dollar. So first scenario is if this thing overnight ends up down here, I would like for it to end up coming down into this level. Now, it would be probably like a news snap. So it would be a little bit of a tough entry. You kind of would just have to go with that entry, and then it would be a limit order type scenario, and we would look at the inverse on EU or GU, right? Or maybe another inverse play on gold or Bitcoin or something, right? But if we do get this move to the downside on the dollar, I'm expecting a move up. Now that's a pretty that's a pretty quick reversal, pretty tough call, to be honest. So the best play would to be kind of wait for it to shift structures and wait for it to actually give the to give this confirmation right here. Now, because like trying to time this type of precision, you're not going to hit it a lot. I'm not going to hit it a lot. It just doesn't happen a lot. But it's okay to have that that bias with this here with the news. And the one reason I like to try to not necessarily catch a sniper on the news, but you're either going to be right very quick or wrong very quick. And it's it's very easy, not I wouldn't say easy, but it's kind of one of those things where you know you're going to be right away or wrong right away, so you can manage your position a little differently than others, in my opinion. I think whenever you're in a news trade, or not in a news trade, but when you are trying to catch a sniper on the news, you can kind of move your stop loss to break even a little sooner sometimes. Yes, every now and again you get wicked out, whatever. But it does give you that kind of comfortability of, hey, I'm in a very volatile spot right now, and I'm going to be a little bit okay with a break-even trade, right? So I'm going to be looking for either that or the next best trade, in my opinion. And let's go ahead and make this. We don't need to make it full screen. It's already full screen looking on YouTube. Okay. The next best thing, right, would be if this breaks and we get a move up. So scenario 2 would look something like this, and we would look to enter off of this type of a play. So kind of just waiting. And with the way the Fed is talking, I'm not too worried about the banking crisis. The Fed stepped in. They said they're going to do what they're going to do. They're not letting people lose all their money, yada yada. It's pretty much like printing money. Essentially, when the Fed comes in and just starts printing money, that's an inflation thing. It's not that much money. It's not even going to be close. It's a couple $1 billion to them. It's nothing. So I don't think it's going to affect anything inflation-wise. But regardless, it's just not a good sign. It's not what happens in a bull market. I'll tell you all that. Banks don't go on bank runs and fail in a bull market. So it's still a sign to me that the economy is bad. That's a big sign. This is the second biggest and the third biggest bank to fail ever, I believe. So will that trickle down later on? Maybe, but I'm not too concerned about that. What I'm concerned about is the CPI. And if that comes out low, well, then the dollar is going to just tank, I guess. And everyone's just going to get back in the stock market. But it shouldn't. We should see a higher CPI than expected, and that should be bad for the stock market. All right. So let's go look at the stock market real quick. Because if we do get that CPI, this thing is tanking. But we need something to happen first. Because this just isn't necessarily at the spot that we need to that we can really trade from, really. So let's extend this down a little bit, and these are going to be the areas that we're really looking this week. So regardless of what the news says or whatever, okay, I do believe that if the market gives us a candle into this level, we should look for an opportunity. And let me give this a better look right here. So last week's point of control right here, I don't think last week's high should break. This was a bearish engulfing candle. So we're looking at last week's price action from here to basically here. And if we come up all the way 78% of that, I'm looking for this to drop. Now, it's going to be a tough position to catch, most likely, especially if the news just pops this very bullish. So what I most likely will do is, just for my confirmations, I'm going to wait for it to get into here and then give me some type of pattern, maybe low volume push up one day, and then we'll be looking for this thing to drop. So there's no other play for me on that. I think if it just continues to drop, it could sink. So I don't think I'm going to be involved in the buys because if it, like I said, it doesn't have any bullish structure to it yet. Number one, there is some bullish divergence. I will give it that. There is a little bit of bullish divergence, but other than that, I don't see this thing necessarily. Wow, look at that volume on a Monday. So that doesn't happen every day. Okay, so something big. Let me read this volume. That's the biggest volume that we have seen in all of this whole thing right here. So, wow. All right, so something's definitely getting built up right here. And if I have to look at it quite honestly, it is in a daily bullish structure. It did come down and hit that 78.6 on the daily. Let me go into this 1 hour. Okay, so it's pretty much like the dollar. If it creates any type of bullish structure, we're going to be looking for it to buy. Just like if the dollar creates a bullish structure, we're going to look for it to buy. So they're kind of not correlating like I would like them to. But either way, I'm still very interested in this price up here. So, we gotta play the cards how we're kind of dealt. If the market starts to shift structure here, which I don't care for the trend line, I'm really looking for this kind of high right here, or really even this high right here to shift, because we might be getting a lower high or a higher low here. So if the market does start to shift right there, hey, I'm not against it because this is some big, huge daily volume. Let me see if these other indices have this type of volume. Yeah, humongous volume with this type of candle. Holding at this 50 EMA right before CPI print. Interesting. Very interesting. Let's see. And then another humongous volume with not a lot of movement. Okay, so regardless, I'm still looking for this move on the Dow here. If it gets there in one day, I probably won't play it, but that's still an area that I'm looking for the market to get to, and if it does, I'll be looking for sells. But man, that is just a ton of volume. Something's obviously, it's CPI tomorrow, something's gonna happen, but I'm just saying, you don't usually get that much volume with that little bit of movement. So with it being at the bottom of this little downtrend and it being kind of bullish candles, I'm leaning towards the bulls tomorrow. And then, man, if it drops with low volume, it might be fake because there is a ton of volume in the market right here. So something's going on. I wish it was more sideways versus in this type of a channel, but that's okay, I guess. There's not really a play on it yet, so I would just be patient. We might have to wait and see what the first initial push is, and then we'll have a better idea, because gold, like I said, is extremely bullish. And it's coming straight into the area we want to sell, but this type of volume is screaming that gold is going to continue. So unless we get some type of divergence into the entry or some type of slowdown, it needs to chill. I will say it is a little bit imbalanced for the month. There's a lot more volume to the downside than there is to the upside, just period. So I am looking for it to start to diverge. It is a little bit here, so here's what I'll be looking for. It's a tough play, very difficult play on gold right here, but we do have the momentum starting to slow down as price is still moving up. If we do get a correction and then another move into all of this volume, because there's no doubt there's a lot of volume there. It is the blue line is a 78.6 swing. So if we do get that type of look and the momentum starts to slide, that will give me some confirmation to short gold. I don't love these type of moves because there's one thing when you see divergence, guys, and then there's another thing when there's divergence with a humongous impulse. It's just two different things. When a market starts to just make daily bullish engulfing candles like this, there's almost always going to end up being divergence. Every time almost. The market is imbalanced. But these are the ones that are a little bit, they're just more risky, right? But nonetheless, if I do get a pullback, which will bring the MACD kind of down, and then another wave up happens, which another wave up should happen. So that's actually something to look for on gold. If it comes back into this 50 EMA, watch for that. Let's see where this volume sits. So it's already coming into yesterday's volume. Some untested volume is down here as well. So put this here. A lot of volume levels just everywhere on gold right now. It's coming right into this open month that we marked off and open week that we marked off at the beginning of the week. So I do think it's going to get there. No doubt in my mind, actually, with this type of momentum and volume, it's coming right into that. Now, will it just stop there immediately? I don't know about that one, but it's definitely a spot where I'm looking for it to possibly reverse. Definitely. With that type of price action before it, I don't know if it's going to last. So I'm not really looking at this as a swing, more or less. I'm looking at this as just a good high probability area. Because then ultimately we'll be looking for this to probably start to moon and break 2,000, honestly. With like a little reaccumulation structure that I'm going to start to look at. And just a real quick, I want to look at silver to see if that's, wow, I like the bulls on this even more because we got the fake out look right here. So ultimately, longer term, I want to see this swing up as well as gold. This is actually showing that there's a lot more upside to silver, which means if silver continues to go up, gold is going to continue to go up. They flow very well. So be very careful on gold shorts. Very careful. There is, let's see if there's any divergence here. No, this is looking extremely bullish. So, in fact, once this comes back into the 50 EMA, that's a really good buy, in my opinion, for tomorrow. I'm going to add that alert onto once it crosses that 50 to let me know something. Okay. So far, so I would think silver is like one of the best looking bullish opportunities for tomorrow after it corrects or if it corrects. Let's look at what the yen is doing. Yen's making a little correction now. It's looking very bullish as well, but here's the exact type of look I like to see, this 3-wave correction, and then once it hits that third wave, then it boom. Then it gives you that almost for sure correction. So some of the yen pair should be going up at this moment. This should continue to go up too, but we might see the correction first. Let me go into some of these Forex pairs. Man, that type of volume, you just don't see it very often. So I think we have to remain bullish as it's breaking this level. It came right into this monthly point of control though. Let's see what the euro is looking like. Has a little bit more of a gap. It hit these equal highs. Yeah, I think we're going to see a move to the upside on the euro. But we could see it retrace first, which doesn't really matter about what the euro does. It matters what the dollar does. So, but man, this to me is giving me all sorts of Wyckoff confirmations with the little spring here and then a smooth move up. Once the market, and if the market can come back into this level eventually, that is a big buying opportunity for the pound pairs, big time. And it might not. It might even just go sideways here, just make another leg up. But I would wait for that correction. Tomorrow, it's so imbalanced at this point, it does need to correct. That's the thing. I'm looking for the dollar to hopefully make a correction up. But there's two different plays on it. It could sink down one more time and then maybe make this move up, or it could just start to break up and break structure. So depending on what the dollar does, if the dollar does just start to move up, then this would probably move down, give an opportunity for the correction. Same thing with the pound. If it does, we would have to wait for it to break the structure and then see if it can take the correction. With the Aussie, it's the same deal. We got to wait for structure to break, and then we can take it to the downside. Or there might be one more pop up on everything, and then I would really think that would be kind of the next move would be down, like pretty much. So let's look at like an EG type move that maybe shouldn't be affected too much by the market tomorrow. Because if the dollar goes up, both the euro and the pound will go down. So let's see here. And if the euro goes down more than the pound, then this will continue to go down. If the euro, and right now the pound is a little stronger, so I'm not against where this is actually for a possible buying opportunity. If it can come down back into this level where it kind of faked out right at the 78.6 actually. So this buy looks pretty clean on EG. Let me look into the 1 hour if there's any confirmation. So currently there is some 1 hour divergence here. So I'll be looking at this type of a play probably here with a possibility of this extending all the way up back into these levels, which it's a major swing play, no doubt. Let's confirm these levels here. So the first TP would obviously be just back at these highs. And then this is a good overall target, just clipping these highs up right there, because the overall TP extends even higher than that. I'm not looking forward to just continue breaking. So that's a really good risk to reward. Let's see, 5-1, very clean. Even if it loses, great risk to reward. So I'm cool with that one. Let's see, GJ. Let's see what it's looking like. Okay, getting a little bit of liquidity to go up again, maybe. A lot of volume on this downside push, though. and it has more or less shifted this lower low, lower high. So let's go to the 1 hour C. Okay, what we're gonna need to see on GJ if we're gonna look for buys. We're gonna need these highs here to break, and then really the high above it needs a break. So I'm not really a fan, and I don't really like the sells. It's a little too V bottomy. I don't like selling when I see V bottoms. So that's why I'm looking for buys on GJ. I like the way it V bottomed though, because I do think it has a chance to continue up. Let's just see if this hits. Nah, I don't really care for that. All right, so ultimately, if GJ makes one more low, I think that it's going to be a clean buy, but I'm waiting for it to start to break structure. Waiting a lot to still. Let's look at this. Okay, this is an ugly area. I mean, it did come back into a very nice demand area, but there's just nothing to play on it. And there probably won't be. With this type of price action, we should see a correction. We should see a correction, but once we do, we are going to be very bearish. Extremely bearish. But dang, there's not a lot of setups. I would... Maybe we will be able to go live tomorrow and look at some setups live. Or if the market makes a move, we'll let y'all know. But that's going to be it for Chart Talk tonight. My main thing I'm looking at, guys, is going to be the dollar. And we're going to base everything off of the dollar. I really do want to focus on just the dollar. You know, Bitcoin. I forgot to even talk about Bitcoin, guys. Gosh darn it. Let's just look at it real quick because it's making craziest moves of the whole market. I forgot to talk about the craziest one. I went out of order today, but that's okay. Real quick, Bitcoin. Insane volume. The most volume we've seen out of the bulls period in a long time. I'm not even going to go back and look. So I'm very bullish on it. I do think that this is going to continue to go up back above this 50 EMA like that. It's very clean. Came back into this current year's POC, and I think we're about to start to see this thing's move up. It did come right into last year's 2022's point of control, and then just took off. So, man, at this point, just waiting for a pullback. I'm not gonna chase it at these levels. There is maybe a shorting opportunity right here for risky traders. I'm holding off on that and just waiting for the pullback, a decent pullback, and then the market should make another move to the upside. We are starting to see some divergence come in. So if there is, I think if there is a move to the highs without a pullback, that might be kind of a fake move, but it's already starting to give like parabolic vibes here, where one more move up and it's gone to 28 damn near. So it is something to watch for here, where as this breaks and it makes another move, there it is to 27. So it's like yeah, watch for this thing to start doing something like this. Let me show you what I think it's about to start doing right here. I think we're gonna get this exact move. Let me make it on the log, and then let me copy this. All right. Let me bring this over to scale. All right. Come on. There's no easy way to do this, I guess. We're almost there. All right, here we go. So we kind of just got this bounce out, and we're getting this right now. I think we're about to, once it breaks, whenever it breaks, I think we're going to get this move out pretty clean, right up to maybe not 28, but the volume profile is suggesting 28. Let me go over here. Nah, forget it. Actually, let's throw that on here, see if we can get this to show for us. All right, so you can see right here on the volume profile to the left, there is volume up at 29, maybe a little at 27, but none here. None here. So if the market does decide to break up, it's going to go straight to 28, in my opinion. So that's why I'm kind of interested in 28K a little bit. Man, to get a position on it is very tough, like I said. So it's probably just going to do something like it did over here, where it just kind of runs away from everyone. Let's go to here, and there is a little bit of divergence coming in, so I would like to see a correction to this 50 EMA and then another move to the upside. So that's going to be another one where once it hits that 50, it should be a good move to the upside, and I do think it could come all the way to like even 31. That's an area of volume that we've been looking at for a while. So Ethereum is the same thing. It is very bullish right here, so we'll be looking for it to make a very similar move to the upside. I don't want to say everything I say and then kind of backtrack it, but if I hindsight this whole thing and it looks like distribution, that's going to be annoying. But to me, it looks like a reaccumulation, and this is more or less going to make another move to the upside as well. So I'm pretty much thinking that tomorrow's numbers are going to bring the dollar, I hope actually we get the dollar to sink to the downside into this macro level down here. And once we get the dollar into this macro level, that's going to be, a better just overall opportunity in other markets to send them back down. So I would like to see, the dollar get here, Bitcoin get to like 31 even. The indices get up to those areas where I want to sell. Like, that all makes sense to me. So that's what I'll be looking for tomorrow. We will check back in and see